We've had a lot of people. Sorry, I just I just drank and went down the wrong tube there. Get back. I'm just emotional over here about what you're saying. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Brand, a podcast where we take a look behind the great brands that we love. We believe that behind every brand is a great person, a great story, and today's guest is no exception to that. I am privileged to announce that our guest today is the one and only Sydnie Marrah. Did I say it right?
You did. Good
Not
job.
Sydnie Marrah? Okay,
No.
good. Sydnie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
We talked about this morning after the gym about what we were going to talk about, and so now is the time. We're just going to figure that out as we go. So,
Cool.
But before we talk about what we're going to talk about, I would like you to talk about and tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Sydnie Marrah. I own Oak Ivory Clothing Co. in downtown Owasso and downtown St. John's. I've been a business owner for 6 years now.
6 years, incredible.
Long time.
Yeah.
4 years in a storefront, and then we just opened our second location almost a year ago.
I remember when you got started, you used to work at Johnny V's. I don't know if you knew that, but that's where I met you. Johnny V's, longtime client of ours. And you worked there. And I remember when Kevin and Susan told me that you were kind of starting your own thing. And at that same time, I was trying to start a little clothing brand called My Vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And I reached out to you and you were probably like, dude, I got my own stuff to worry about. Why don't you try to figure it out? My Vibe did launch unsuccessfully. We did a little product launch and a little photo shoot, and it got nowhere. I think we sold like 7 shirts.
Better than nothing.
Not a great business model, but maybe someday we'll revisit.
Yeah.
But it's been really cool to watch you grow, to go from a little small spot downtown to a little bit bigger spot downtown to then your second location. And we think your social media is great. We actually just ranked our favorite social media accounts in the area, and you were on that list. I think you do a great job with the social media, just showing your personality, showing your products. So from our perspective, good job. Good job to the audience. Round of applause. I think she's doing great. But before we get to like Oak and Ivory, we're going to talk all about that and the great brand that you've built. Let's go a little bit about what happened before that. So tell our audience like what you did before Oak and Ivory. You're very young to be a business owner for some people, and that's awesome, especially since you've been doing it for 6 years.
Yeah.
So what was before Oak and Ivory, and what ultimately led you to like, I'm going to start my own business?
I graduated high school in 2016. I started working for...
That's when I started AZEE in 2015, so... Wow.
When I was graduating.
Yeah.
I worked at Memorial Healthcare for 4 years.
Really?
I liked that job, just not...
What'd you do there?
Healthcare is not my vibe. I was patient access, and I mainly worked in the emergency room, taking patients' information.
Okay.
So I did that for 4 years while I was in college. So I went to Baker College for 2 years, got my degree in business administration and management. And then from there, in between that time, I said, I'm going to start my business. I never told my parents I was starting the business. I got my licensing and whatever I had to do through the state, and I just did it. I drained my entire savings account, and I said, I'm doing this. Like, I want to be an entrepreneur. I can't work for anyone else anymore. Like, I'm over it. So I started that, and then I also worked in retail for 3 years. So I got the lay of the land of how that worked. Yeah. So I did that, and then I was able to quit my full-time job and work for myself full-time.
That's so cool. So you started really with just selling online, right?
Yep,
you
I did
used
that.
Instagram and different things to sell online. At what point did you say, all right, I need to go from selling just online to opening up my own little boutique?
Well, I was presented with the option to go into a storefront. Mandy and Nick Pydak reached out to me and asked if I wanted to open my own storefront. And at that time, like, so scary.
Intimidating.
It's so much money. But my parents were like, why not? Let's just see how this goes. And so we did it. We opened the storefront. I think we only had like 2 weeks to open the storefront.
Yeah, it
So
was
it all
quick.
happened like very, very fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I didn't have Mandy and Nick reach out to me, I don't know if I would be where I'm at today.
Well, and sometimes that's what we need is just a little push, and then having a great support system behind us, like
Yeah.
your parents supported you and behind it. You know, I think entrepreneurship to a lot of people seems really cool. It's like trendy right now. Like everybody wants
Yeah.
to be an entrepreneur or an influencer. They see people making content or doing things to make their own money, and they're like, "Oh, I want to do that." And the truth is, not everybody is an entrepreneur. Like
Right.
being an entrepreneur is really, really tough. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later because that's kind of what prompted. We've known each other for a long time. We become friends, gym buddies, occasionally get some Foster coffee together. But what really prompted me saying, I got to have Sydnie on the podcast is you made a video a couple weeks ago just talking about the challenges of being an entrepreneur. So we'll talk all about that in a little bit. But I think if you're going to start your own thing, I always think that's an admirable thing. I always am behind people to do it, but it is a challenge. It is hard, and it's not for everybody. And if you're not an entrepreneur, that's okay. Some people prefer to like get a job and go work, and at 5 o'clock they shut it off and go home. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like the world needs those people. But if you're an entrepreneur, there's no shutting it off. Like it really is
Never.
always.
Today's episode is brought to you by AZEE Branding Agency, where we help grow your brand from A to Z. If your business is great but nobody knows it, you don't have a marketing problem, you've got a branding problem. At AZEE, we help you stand out with bold branding by creating websites, social media, video, and photography that actually gets noticed. Because attention is the #1 currency in business, and your brand deserves more of it. Learn more at azeebranding.com, and let's get your brand the attention it deserves.
So talk about like you started the storefront, and we actually got a lot of our inspiration for our print shop for the design from some of the stuff you did there. I don't know if you know that or not.
No, I don't.
Yeah, we thought it was really cool. I've always thought your stuff was real trendy. I'm not a very trendy person, so I always like to, you know, I can tell when somebody has good taste, but I don't really know how to get there. But I know at first you were still working a full-time job, right?
Yeah.
So talk about that. Like how long after you opened your storefront did you go from working full-time then to working part-time and then eventually saying, I'm going to do this full-time?
So I believe I opened my first storefront at the end of 2022. And then I had my mom work the storefront while I was working in Lansing full-time. And she did that for about a year. And then I made that switch after a year to just work for myself full-time and try to navigate that and see how that goes.
How that went.
Yeah, and I started the business when I was 23.
That's so
So
young.
I had no idea how expensive owning a business is, the taxes that come with it, all the expenses.
Yeah.
So I really had no idea, and I was still am in for a wild ride.
Yeah, and it's ever learning. Like I've been at this 11 years and I'm still learning every day.
Yeah.
And I'm still figuring out how expensive it is to run a business.
Right.
And it's funny, when I was a kid, I thought everyone that owned a business was rich. And you just assume that, oh, they have a store, they're rich. And what you realize is that's not always the case. Matter of fact, most of the times it's probably not the case. Maybe not rich in dollars, but rich in other things, right?
Yeah.
But you kind of went through the progression. Like, you know, you had this thing that worked online. And the nice thing about selling online is you can limit your inventory. You don't have a monthly lease. You don't have utilities. You don't have to worry about things breaking. You don't have to keep certain hours. Like if you want to list your products at 2 a.m, you can do that. But if it's storefront, you have to have times that you're open. So someone has to be in the store.
Right.
There's a lot that comes with transitioning from selling online to selling in person. And then not only did you transition from that, you realize like at the beginning here, while I'm getting this off the ground, I have to still work a job. And I think where a lot of people go wrong, and I don't want to say wrong because everyone's journey is kind of their thing, but I think where a lot of people go wrong is they try to jump in full time right off the bat. And it is good to have some time to build up some money. And when you start a new business, you might have to work your job during the day and then work that business at night, which means you're super busy. But if you rush it, these guys over here just goofing off camera. if you rush it, that can actually be very detrimental to the business.
Yeah.
So what was the reasoning for the move from basically we were right on Main Street
Yep.
in a smaller space.
Mm-hmm.
Then you moved to a much larger space, probably triple the space.
Yeah.
What was that decision? What went into that decision?
The support I got from the community was just insane. The feedback that I got from the community was insane. And I knew I was meant to be in downtown Owasso doing this. We wanted to add more inventory to the store, but we also wanted to add a men's section, because that was a need for downtown Owasso.
Yeah.
And just having a bigger space. The store, we host so many events and just do little pop-ups. It offers other businesses to come into the store and, sell what they sell. So having a bigger space just made sense to us.
More opportunity.
More
But
opportunity.
also comes with more expense.
Yeah.
And more inventory.
Pay more
probably
inventory.
More staff.
Yeah.
More utilities. All those things create opportunity, but also with opportunity comes challenges.
Right.
But then you didn't rest on your laurels. You said, I am still in my 20s and I'm killing it. I'm also going to open another location in St. John. So tell us what got you to that place.
Probably my parents. My parents want to see me succeed and do what I love and what I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And we also got presented with another opportunity to grow in a small town. So obviously we went over the financials, did all of that, and my parents said, let's do it. We'll help you every step of the way. We'll build it out for you. And so we did.
We just had on my last episode, I had the president of the Grand Blanc Chamber of Commerce, and I asked her, what do you think is one of the biggest mistakes that you see business owners making? And she said, trying to do it alone. And having parents and a support system like that and a community that's supporting you, but then just having the humility to reach out to other business owners and how do you handle this and what are the best practices for this, or we're struggling to do this. That's so important. I think a lot of people don't make it because they try to do everything by themselves. And as you know, even the sharpest, most determined entrepreneur, we're literally just figuring it out every day.
It changes every day.
Yeah, we just don't know what the day is going to present. Yep. For me, that's one of the things I love about it is every day is a new challenge. But I kind of thrive in chaos. But what I found is that me thriving in chaos actually leaves a wake behind me that affects the people around me.
Right.
So because I'm okay with things piling up and last minute and, pop-up projects as we call them around here and things changing all the time, it gives me energy. Mm-hmm. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, when you're like that, the people that work for you, the staff or your family, feels the stress that maybe you're not feeling. You're like, what are you talking about? This is great.
Yeah.
You're actually projecting that stress on other people. So it's something I'm continuously trying to work on and, try to manage that excitement or become more organized. And those things are just part of what I think entrepreneurs go through.
Yeah.
So tell me about the biggest differences going from being an online seller that had a full-time job and just kind of doing it as a hobby and as a fun thing to now full-time entrepreneur with 2 locations. How many employees do you have?
I have 2.
2 employees.
Yep.
And how many hours a week do they work between the 2 of them?
Oh, geez.
On average.
I should know this. I do.
That's all right.
I do.
But are either of them full-time?
No.
Okay.
They're both part-time.
So part-time help.
So 2 days a week and then 3 days a week.
Okay. And is your mom still helping out as well?
Yep. She's always doing something behind the scenes.
So she's an employee too, right?
Yeah. Just not on the payroll.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Family is great for that.
Yeah.
So tell me about the biggest differences, because I know there's a lot of people out there watching right now that they have a little online thing that they're having some success with. And it's fun because they're just doing it when they want to do it. It hasn't become a necessary job. But when you turn it into a storefront, now you have to do it every day. I can't just say, I don't feel like getting clothes. You have to. So talk about some of the biggest differences that you've experienced, good, bad, and ugly.
I think when I had my online store, I was able to be a little more relaxed with it and lazy, if you will. Sure. I didn't show up as much as I should have showed up. But owning a storefront. 2 storefronts is a beast. And
For
it's a
sure.
lot to handle. And it's scary because, again, expenses are just so high and you never know if you're going to have a customer walk through the door or what that's going to look like. So I think if you're okay with knowing that, all of the expenses and all of just the managing that you have to do, if you're okay with that, then I
Yeah.
say full send that and do that. Do it. Just try.
Yeah.
I mean, you can fail and it not go well, and that's completely fine too. But at least try. I mean, online, there is so much opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
Both positive and negative. With social media, you can grow and make so much money, but then also social media leaves comparison
Yeah.
to other businesses. Oh,
Yeah.
like they're doing so much better than I am, and then it leads to self-doubt, and then you just go down a
very
rabbit
real.
hole of craziness.
And you can take something that you just enjoy as a hobby, and when you turn it into a business, it can take all the joy out of it.
Yep.
Like you can remember a time where like, man, I used to love, like even for me, like there was a time when I used to love just sitting down with a blank canvas and like creating something, a logo, sketching something on a piece of paper. And although I still love doing that when I have time, there are times where it's just a task and it just isn't fun. It's just work. And I'm like, I have to do this right now. And so sometimes when you turn a hobby or something you enjoy into a career, it can rob you of the joy. But that's why I think if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to have a high risk tolerance. You have to be willing to be broke for an indeterminate amount of time.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to live week to week in your business.
Yep.
Even and sometimes meaning like everyone else gets paid, but I just don't get paid this week. Like you have to be willing to do that.
Yep.
And if you're good and you keep at it, those times become less and less, but they still pop up. Like I said, I've been at this 11 years and there are still times where it's like Wednesday and I'm like, all right, payroll's Friday. Like, are we going to bring in enough money to cover that?
Yeah.
And nothing stresses me out like thinking, what if I can't pay my people? Like I can let a vendor go. I can let the rent go a couple weeks. Sorry, Randy. I can let other things slide. No stress.
Yeah.
But when I know like, oh, my people who worked hard for me all week. And you know, when I have people, I feel like so grateful. These people are working hard to help my dreams come true.
Right.
And like when I see other business owners taking their people for granted or just seeing them as like employee number 1, employee number 3, I don't understand that, because to me it's like I feel so blessed that other people are using their talents to help me make my dreams come true. I think that's such a cool thing. But I think that part of the process that people have to realize is it's not always the highlight reel that you see on social media. And it's our job as business owners to put out a positive a vibe, an optimistic point of view.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to get online every day and like, well, guys, I might close tomorrow. So if you don't come in and buy something, I'm just might not be here. Like the guilt trip doesn't work in business, right? So everyone kind of has this perception that, you know, you're doing well. And so I just think that's part of the process. So let's kind of talk about the video that you made. And I was scrolling through TikTok a couple weeks ago. And I was like, oh, there's my friend Sydnie. And normally if I see Sydnie on the TikToks, she's, you know, you're promoting clothing that you're wearing, you know, but you were sitting and you were talking. I'm like, all right, what's this all about? And you just shared that, you know, hey guys, you know, I just having a vulnerable moment here, sharing that being a business owner is hard. And you talked about the expenses, you talked about the challenge, and you said for you, it was really hard to do something like that, put that out there. But I just wanted to say, like, for me as a business owner, it spoke to me. Yeah. And there is some security in knowing, like, hey, other people are going through the same thing I'm going. And I immediately wanted to talk to you about it. And then it resulted in, like, let's do a podcast. But just being able to talk to another business owner about that struggle, it feels good, because sometimes you do have the self-doubt. The question, like, am I cut out for this? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? We both know we could go get jobs tomorrow making probably more money. And so there's times where it's like, why would I, like, my CPA looks at the books and he's like, this is not, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
And so we've talked a lot about on the podcast about success is determined individually.
Yep.
That what success to you might not be success to me. And I think where a lot of entrepreneurs go wrong is they never take the time to really define what success means to them. And so they're grinding, they're working hard, they're going through it, they're struggling, and they might already even be at a place of success and they don't even realize it because they've never defined it.
Yeah.
And so for me, we talked about this before the podcast, but to me, success is being happy. Happiness is so underrated. They say 94% of Americans hate their job.
Yeah.
I don't hate my
That's
job.
sad.
So to be happy and spend as many days as I can doing the things that I love. So if I know like that's what I'm shooting for, then I'm like, well, man, AZEE gives me a place to be happy and it allows me to do the things I love most days.
Right.
So for me, I feel very successful, even though, like I said, my CPA might say you're not that successful. And so what would you say is success for Sydnie Marrah?
I would have to say the same thing as you. I think happiness is so important, and truly loving what you do and just showing up for your community, for your employees, in every aspect of your life. I think success, it's just happiness. You should be happy.
Yeah. And, I think, for me, I think, I've asked the question before, time or money. And if I had to choose between the two, I would choose time. I would rather have freedom of time than have a huge bank account that required me to never have any freedom.
Yeah.
It'd be great to have both. That's kind of the end goal, right? Being a business owner does give me freedom of time, just in a different way.
Yeah.
It's not that I work less, certainly not, or put in less hours, but just I can do it at kind of my own pace. If I need to take a day off, I can have an employee cover for me, or I can, whatever I need.
Yeah.
So it does give some flexibility, but it's certainly not less work. So when you sat down to make that video, and knowing you, I know you second guessed it 10 times in your mind.
Oh, yeah.
How many times, just if you're willing to share, how many times did you record it before you actually posted it?
That day I literally just sat down. I was so emotionally and I was just spent. Like
Yeah.
I just have had enough, I guess.
One of those days, yeah.
So I just sat down and I just talked to the camera. So it was only
One take.
One take.
I
And
love
I was
that.
like,
I love that.
I felt nauseous afterwards because that is very, very vulnerable for me to put out. I'm not, I don't really let people know about me, I guess.
Sure.
Or I don't share a lot about
A little
myself.
more private.
Yeah, I'm more private. Yeah, one take.
One take. That's awesome. Because, we've all had those moments where you watch it back and you're like, I don't know. I don't like the lighting. Why does my face look like that? All those things. And so you said you felt nauseous afterwards. What kind of response, other than me, what kind of response have you gotten from that? Anything?
Just a lot of positivity and people reassuring me that I am doing a good job and it will be okay, and just relating to that.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And, I think for me, this whole thing could be done next week. Like, it's a very possible, like something could happen. The building could burn down. Somebody could sue me, sue me for what, right? Some things could happen, or my health could go bad. Like, it could all come to an end. It's a real possibility. And even my optimistic mind thinking that's not going to happen, it definitely could. And so when you know that that's a real possibility, that, hey, this thing, even though I love it today and I'm doing it, it could all come to an end tomorrow, that adds a little bit to the stress of it.
Yeah.
But I think for me, and I know for other business owners, to hear somebody who's going through it, there was one time where I put out a similar kind of just vulnerable, like, hey guys, this is tough. And, we sold our print shop last year because that was kind of my second storefront, if you will.
Yeah.
And it was a business that required so much more of my time and brain capacity than I ever realized. And ultimately I got to the point where I'm like, I'm stepping back from that, and I sold it. And there was parts of me that felt like, oh, I failed, or I let, my customers down. I let my employees down, blah, blah. You feel all that. But at the end of the day, you have to do what's the best thing for you.
Right.
And, the day that this thing no longer is serving my vision, my mission, so when I say, all right, I'll move on to something else.
Yeah, you have to.
And so I think what helps me get through it when those days where I have like what you were having, is I just kind of go to, all right, what's the worst that could happen? I don't pay the bills. This doesn't happen. Okay, so I go out of business. All right. So then I go do something else, right?
Right.
It's not the end of the world. And it maybe is a little embarrassing at first of like, oh, but then you realize like people understand, especially people that have been through it. And there will be people that judge from a distance, but people that judge from a distance don't really bother me because they don't know. They've never been in the trenches.
Never.
They've never been in the trenches.
Yeah.
So what would you say then to a business owner who believes in what they're doing? They're in that place. You know, they say it's the first year is the hardest. Most businesses, like 80% of businesses fail in the first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you can make it past 5 years, you're now in like the top 10% of businesses. But then that 5 through 10 is really challenging because you're trying to like scale and you're trying to determine, do I want to scale? And, you know, you can have a business that just gives you a job. Like, I'm going to work this all day. I'm going to pay myself $70,000, $80,000 a year, whatever it is. And I'm not going to hire employees because I'm going to be the employee, and then have one location and that's just your job. But you can also have a visionary mindset where like, I want to have a couple locations so that I eventually could make money and not have to be there every day.
Yeah.
It's two different models. So what would you say to someone who's in that, you know, position where they're like, they're feeling the struggle, they're feeling the expenses add up? What would you advise them to do to kind of get through it and move on to the next, you know, the next day?
I would say surround yourself with people who are so good for your soul, who uplift you, whether that's friends, family, your partner. That will make a world of a difference when you surround yourself with those kind of people. And just never give up. Never, just keep going. Ride the wave and just keep going because it will pass and it will get better.
We've had a lot of people. Sorry, I just I just drank and went down the wrong tube there. Get back. I'm just emotional over here about what you're saying. We've actually had a lot of people on the podcast say a very similar thing.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced that the ones who make it are the ones that just don't quit. We just keep pushing, you keep sticking through it. And I think too, sometimes you have to take a step back to take a step forward. Like I said, when we closed the print shop, or sold the print shop, I should say, I felt like I was taking this huge step back. And I wondered, like, what's the community going to think? And what are they going to say? And you just have to get over that. You just have to be like, who cares? You know, stand a day in my shoes and then let's talk. But you can't let the business take more from you than you're willing to let it, because it will take everything and more. So I think, you know, my encouragement to you and to anyone watching who's in this kind of position is, number one, live with vision. Like, where am I going? Where is this thing taking me? If I know, like, I am going to be in a place where this sucks for the next couple of years, but it's going to lead to something more, then just put your head down and let it suck for a couple of years till you get there. But if you're like lost and you don't know, or you're worried to make a move because of what people might think, or you're worried to take a step back, or you're worried to close or downsize, like, you got to not worry about what everybody thinks.
I think you just have to be at peace with it.
That's it.
I mean, it is what it is. If it doesn't work out, then that was God's plan.
That's it.
All along. So just be at peace. It'll be okay. Everything will work out the way it should be.
Yeah.
And I think that's what keeps me going with all of that. It's like, whatever happens.
Yeah. And it's okay to change direction. You know, like I said, at the beginning of 2020, let's see, this is 2026. So at the beginning of 2025, I had like 15 employees. I now have 3, well, if I count myself, 4.
Yeah.
That's a huge step back.
Not a step back. That was
but it was
smart.
necessary.
Yeah.
But it brought back some happiness and joy. It's opened up huge opportunities for this side of the business. I have a great partnership with the print shop downstairs, so we're still able to offer our clients the same level of service without us just having to have all that overhead and mental capacity. So, you know, even with you, like, you have 2 locations. There may come a day where you're like, you know, I just want 1.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Or there might be a day where I want 5, and that's okay, you know? And that's where you have to have a vision. Where am I going? And again, I think determine what success is and then get a vision. I always have a 5-year vision I'm working towards. And I promise that in that 5 years, it will change 100 times. but I'm always working towards something. And I think if you're just like trying to survive the day, it's going to overwhelm you. You're going to quit. You're going to be done. But find a purpose, a goal, a stated mission, a vision of what you want to do, and then just put your head down and work towards that and put yourself through the tough days.
I feel like being a business owner too, you constantly have to pivot.
100%.
You're like every day almost.
Yeah.
Or every month. You're always pivoting.
Yeah. Sometimes for me, I feel like my mind changes directions by the hour.
Yeah.
By the half hour. Like I come in, I was going to do this today, and then I end up doing 10 other things, all things that had to get done. Like yesterday, I was in a place where I was feeling really good about where I was with my list. And then Morgan went through like the open projects, and I'm like, oh, forgot that one. Oh, didn't do that one. And then you start to feel a little overwhelmed. And you're like, oh man, I still have so much to do. I start checking off my list and it feels good. And then you realize, and I think that's just as a business owner, the checklist never gets finished.
Gosh, no.
I remember the days of working for someone else where I could check off the last thing on my list and go home and feel good. Like tomorrow will be a new list, but I checked off. And I don't know that I've ever, in 11 years of doing this, went home knowing it's all done. Like the list just keeps growing. And when you knock off 5 things, you add 10. And, you know, like I said, for someone like me, I love it. I really do. There are days where it's overwhelming, but I love it. But if you're not willing, or you think that's not me, that's okay too. Like there are lots of really good paying jobs and careers that lend themselves to your personality, your work type. And I think at the end of the day, you got to find something that you enjoy and that makes you happy. And don't compare yourselves to someone else. Well, my friend owns a business, so I want to own a business. Or this girl online that I follow has this cool thing. I want to do that. And it's okay to get inspiration, but don't copy. Like, be yourself. You're the only you.
Yes, and that's how your business is going to thrive, is if you stay authentic and stay true to who you are.
Yeah. All right. Well, we spent a lot of time talking about that, but I think that's such a big, important thing. And I think that that's going to help the right people watching. And I appreciate you being willing to share that. I know most of the time when we talk, we're just goofing off. We're not talking about serious things, but it was good to kind of have that conversation. And like I said, I know there are people watching that will find a lot of help in that. So the last couple of things I really want to talk about with you is I want to talk about your brand. So obviously one of the things we talk about here is branding. And the name of the podcast is Behind the Brand. And there are a lot of things that go into making a successful brand. But to you, like, before I ask what makes a successful brand, what is a brand to you? Like, what does that even mean?
Oh, I guess what your business represents or what it looks like to other people, how you stand out, a lot of things.
Yeah. We say it like this, like if people don't know you, you have a marketing problem. People don't choose you, you have a branding problem.
Yep.
The brand is what makes people choose you.
Right.
I gave a story like this, like our face, like when I am at Walmart and I see your face, I'm like, oh, that's Sydnie Marrah.
Oh,
that's Sydnie. When I see your face, that's what makes me recognize you, right?
Yeah.
So that's like our logo. Our logo is the thing that makes people recognize, or our name.
Yeah.
But whether or not I come up to you to talk to you, or if I skip 3 aisles over to avoid you, that's your brand. And people will recognize you by your colors, by your posts, by your logo. Like that's the visual representation of your brand. But what really your brand is whether or not people choose to come support you, buy from you, talk about you, say good things, write reviews, all the things that you can do to support. And so we focus a lot here on helping people with that part of their business, because you can have all the right marketing objectives, you can have all the right financials, but if you don't have a trustworthy, reliable brand, then people don't choose you. So what do you think are the things, that go into making a good, trustworthy brand that people like and want to go to and want to work with?
Honestly, I just feel like it's making a connection with every single customer that comes through the store, down to the little things, up to the big things, is just having those conversations, remembering their names, just building those connections within your community.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what keeps people coming back, or, you get out in public and people come up to you and start chatting with you because you've built that relationship
Yeah.
with them and they feel comfortable to do that.
Absolutely. And then that's when people, because they like you and they like what you're
Yeah.
about, they start almost selling for you.
Yeah.
You know, and they hear a friend talking about, oh, I need a new pair of pants, or I need this, or oh, you need to go see Sydnie at Oak Ivory. Like she has really cool stuff. Her products are really cute. Her prices are great. Whatever it is, the things you want to be known for, that's when, like you said, you build a community, you build trust, and then people start becoming your best asset.
Yeah.
And it's not products or services that build a business; it's people. People. So the other thing we talk a lot about is attention. The number one currency in any business or organization is attention. And as business owners, we're always trying to do something to get attention. We post stupid, silly videos. Matter of fact, we posted one yesterday that I lip synced and you were convinced that I was actually the person talking in the video.
Good.
But like, what does that have to do with marketing or branding? Nothing, but it's just a way to get some attention.
Yeah.
We believe that if more people are talking about us, it gives us more opportunity. So we do a lot of things to get attention. You know, we put yard signs all over the community yesterday. We do a podcast. We post on social media, like people do billboards. What are some of the things that you as a business owner do to get attention and that other businesses maybe would benefit from?
I do need to work on that. But I do post on social media. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Doing events, I think, is a really good way to market yourself. So we do a lot of pop-ups and events within the community. That's about it.
Well, and social media is a great place for that, right? Because if you do it yourself, it's free. I notice you have some of your girls now making videos as well, which is another way if you can get your employees involved. Most people know if you work here, you're going to be on camera, you're going to be talking, and that's just part of the culture. And it's all just you hope that in the endless scroll that you can put something out there that will make someone stop, that grab their attention. And I think if you're a business owner and you're not utilizing social media, you are leaving so much opportunity and money on the table.
I agree. If you do it the right way, though, to really.
Well, and I would even tell people, I would go as far as to say, like, when it comes to social media, quantity over quality is better. Now, I want to clarify that because our creative director, Beth, always freaks out when I say that. I'm not suggesting people should put out bad content. But sometimes you're in a position where you don't have the resources to make a high quality podcast. Like this took us 10 years to get. I mean, if you watch the first iterations of our podcast, it's awful. Bad cameras, bad lighting. We didn't know what we were doing, bad audio. But we put it out there. Just because it was bad then doesn't mean it wasn't the right thing for us to put it out. And instead of overanalyzing, like, well, I just don't have the right mics, or I don't have the right cameras, or I don't have the right lighting. I don't know what to post. I don't look good on camera. I don't sound good. Like, you're always bad at something when you start. So like if you're the business owner that's like, I can't afford to pay a company like AZEE to do this for me, I got to do it myself. I would say just get stuff out there. If you're posting once a week, the algorithms are leaving you in the dust. Like they don't care. Like consistency is what they look for. And so maybe it just starts with every day. Hey guys, today we're serving up this flavor of ice cream and we hope you come down and see it. It's really, really tasty. And it might be awkward to you and it might be uncomfortable, but it will resonate with somebody.
Yeah.
And then the next time you get on camera, you'll be a little more confident. You'll get a little bit better. And I still, after all this time, after producing hundreds of podcast episodes, I'll watch one and I'll still think, man, why do I sound like that? Why do I look like that? Why was I sitting that way? But you just put it out there. And so I think some people don't post because they get analysis paralysis.
I'm guilty of that.
They overthink it. We all are.
Yeah.
But I think to be successful, you kind of have to get past that.
Yeah.
And put it out there. And when I say quantity over quality, it means just keep putting stuff out. It will get better. If you ever get to a place where you can produce higher quality content, then you absolutely should. But don't wait until you have the fancy camera or the fancy teleprompter or the fancy lighting, because you might not ever get there.
Yeah.
But by doing it, it might get you there quicker. And so I think that's such an important thing for people to recognize. All right. We could talk for hours. We've already been talking for 38 minutes, so we're doing great. So before we sign off to that, though, I'd like to give you the opportunity. I'm going to do two things. First thing, I want you to kind of tell people about what you offer. When they come into the store, what are they going to see? What are they going to experience? What makes your clothing different?
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to give you an opportunity to talk about how people can connect with you. So let's first start with describe like what's the Oak and Ivory experience and the products.
Oak and Ivory is a boho feel to the store. We carry a lot of unique and fun pieces. I believe that fashion is so fun. Style can be so fun at any age. And we also carry bags, jewelry, all of that stuff. But the clothing, I think, is really where it's at. Just the boho feel and basic pieces.
And do you like personally pick out everything, or do you have people to help you?
No, I spend hours.
Curated by Sydnie.
Hours shopping for inventory.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Her stuff is really cool. What we should have done today is a big miss. I should have had you style me before the episode. See if you can make a 45-year-old man stylish.
Look good.
Yeah. Okay. So then the last thing then would be tell our audience how they can connect with you. How can they find Oak and Ivory? How can they buy from you? How can they interact with you online? And go.
So you can find Oak and Ivory in downtown Owasso, downtown St. John's. We also have a Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. It's all oakandivory.shop. And then we also have an online store that is oakandivory.shop as well.
Very, very good. So make sure you connect. If you like fashion, if you like style, if you like the boutique feel, the boho feel. Don't even know what boho means. Is it like Bohemian Rhapsody?
No, it's just a loose, comfy clothes.
Sydnie always is very stylish. Every time I see her, I'm like, I don't know much about fashion, but I can tell that is fashion. So yeah, great job. Yeah, check out their stuff on their social media, on their website. It's really, really cool. And I think you will love the store. It's a really awesome vibe. And they always have this really cool green couch in both locations. So
everyone's obsessed
gotta
with
sit
those
on
couches.
the green couch. Yeah. All right. So now we are going to have our marketing director, Morgan Madelone, who also is besties with Sydnie, is going to come on and do our Say It in 60 segment. So Morgan, come on down. You're the next contestant on Behind the Brand.
Okey-doke.
Okay, Sydnie, are you ready to play Say It in 60?
I am.
I think you're going to kill it.
We'll
I was thinking about it and I was like, I had my answers for what I think you're going to say.
Oh, really?
So I'm excited to compare the two.
Oh, boy.
But I can't do it in the 60 seconds. There's no way. All right, Micah, start the timer in 3, 2, 1. Favorite hobby?
Working out.
Favorite place you've ever been?
Canadian Rockies.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Must-read book?
Anything by Frida McFadden.
Favorite podcast?
This one.
Obviously. A daily habit everyone should practice?
Moving their body.
A TV series worth binge watching?
The Chosen.
In your opinion, what will help your brand go more? High quality photo or high quality video?
Video.
A great website or a great social media presence?
Social media presence.
What does success mean to you?
Being happy.
26 seconds left.
Dude, that is a record.
The last lady did 25 and you just beat her.
I had the same answers. I thought you were going to say except for must-read book. I was going to say either Frida McFadden or Colleen Hoover.
Yeah. Frida McFadden's a little better, though.
Great job, Sydnie.
Thank
now
you.
back to Tony.
Well, Sydnie, great job. Thanks for coming on the show today. I really appreciate you being my guest.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Absolutely. And I wish you nothing but the best. And again, I highly recommend that you check out Oak and Ivory. Awesome business, awesome entrepreneur. Keep up the good work. Thank you for sharing that stuff and being vulnerable. If it wasn't a help to anyone, it was a help to me. And so I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you guys for watching. As my mother always said, you can't and never could until you tried. So go out there and try something great, my friends, and don't take the easy way out. We'll see you next time.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. We want to connect with you. Drop a comment, share your thoughts, and let us know what guests you want us to have on the podcast. Follow us on social media for more branding insights, and thanks for watching Behind the Brand.